Good evening, everybody. Here we are another Thursday on King's Dream Pop-Up. And tonight we have the amazing author and poet, Gifted Johnson Wilkinson. Welcome to Thursday Night Show. How you doing?
I'm wonderful. Thank you for having me.
No doubt. It's all good. I'm glad you could make it.
Me too.
Well, Gifted, tell us who you are. You just popped up on the radar. Give us an introduction. Where you from? I know you said you was from Cincinnati, Ohio, but tell us who's Gifted Johnson.
All right. I am gifted. Gifted by the one that allows me to take pen to paper to form the words that trickle down my tongue, past your ears, and into this very mic. Gifted by the one that allows me to use this tongue for good, not for ill. I am gifted. That's who I be. I am gifted, y'all, all the way from Cincinnati, Ohio. I have been writing poetry for as long as I can remember. Ever since I was a young girl, I used poetry as my escape to write my feelings out, to just get them out, whatever I was feeling at the time. Believe it or not, I was shy. And so this allowed me to speak. Writing it down was my voice. That was kind of my voice. And then in my early 30s is when I discovered the stage and poetry and spoken word on the stage. And I fell in love. And I've been doing it ever since. Right here in Cincinnati, and actually as of 2021, I started traveling all over Atlanta, Charlotte, Greenville, you name it, Nashville. So I'm doing my poetry, and there's nothing like being able to use words to express emotions and to evoke something in others that may make them move.
When did you realize the power of your words?
Oh, wow. I don't really remember the year, but I did a piece called Bad Seed. It is a well-known piece that I did with a group. I wrote it and did it for a group called the Coochie Chronicles. And that was a traveling stage play. So,
oh no, you didn't.
Well, you all have heard of the vagina monologues, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so that the Coochie Chronicles were in a similar vein, except we were all poets. So we did ours in a poetic form, and we talked about women's sexuality, and we talked about sensual empowerment. So, yeah.
It's interesting. And I don't want my cousin, he's a fellow poet like yourself. And, one of the things when if sometimes I'm not always in the interview. He asked me to be in the interview.
Okay.
And one of the things when we interview poets is interesting. We always ask the poet, what genre do you like? So you've did erotic poetry before.
So, and a lot of people, that name threw a lot of people. In fact, when I first joined the group, it took me the longest to say it because I was a little shy. And I would just tell people, I'm in the Chronicles. I'm in the Chronicles. But when I realized what it meant and what the messages that we were sharing, I knew it was bigger than me and being able to say that word. And so I found power in that word, because not many of the poems were really sensual. We were talking about traumas, sexual trauma, sexual growth. We were talking about AIDS at the time. AIDS was really rampant in the African American community. So we was bringing awareness to that. Even during the session, we would have testing AIDS testing, and give out pamphlets and information about it. So the word coochie was really, I think, an attention getter, more so than anything else. And we were talking about the vagina.
Oh, so y'all was doing hot girl summer all year long.
Yeah, you can say that. You can definitely say that. You can all year long, for real. Oh gosh, yes. But it was about bringing awareness.
Okay. Gotcha.
And empowerment. Yep.
So when did you first started knowing that you was a poet?
Oh gosh.
Like you knew that you had the knack. You was like, I've been writing, I got it.
Wow. Yeah, when was that? Tuesday? No. I don't know if I ever feel like I got it. But I know that I have a message and I have a purpose in my poetry. I know that. And I didn't finish the story because we got kind of bombarded with the word coochie. But the Bad Seed, which is a poem I wrote about molestation. And a young lady came up to me after I performed that piece and said, thank you. Thank you, because you freed me and you allowed me to know it wasn't my fault and it wasn't just me. And that's when I knew my words had power. Probably about 2008.
Okay.
And once I realized that, I began to hone in on those types of messaging. And then when people start asking me to come speak at their engagements, I did a sexual violence awareness for the government affairs and veteran affairs people. They came to me and asked me. I knew that there was some power in my messaging and in my poetry.
That's what's up.
So let me ask you, so do you think, so you realize like, oh, I'm not only giving people a message, but I'm giving it in a poetry form, but they're understanding and I'm hitting home the point. When did you realize like, that you had the presence? You know, like you know how when you go in a room in front of a stage and you be like, okay, I need to reach home with everybody, not everybody in the audience, but majority of the audience. When did you realize, like, because you said you were shy, and it's like, okay, I know I got a purpose. This is gonna be my purpose, but now I gotta get up there and I gotta be able to engage with people that may not want to engage. It may be sheltered. Maybe if you speak into those people that have been abused, they may have never told nobody they was abused. So now those words that you say may be so powerful that you may have to take it to another level after your performance. So when did you realize, like, I gotta be the room?
Yeah. And not to keep referring back to it, but the Chronicles really did that for me. I realized that I had a responsibility to tell my story and to tell it in the most vulnerable and real way that I could, because it needed to be real talk that others would relate to, and that they too would feel either empowered or healed by the messaging that I was giving.
And just a program note, because we went down this road that Gifted is speaking about, just know that 3 out of every 5 women will be a victim of sexual abuse or domestic violence. So if you are abused, you need to seek help. I will put the number on the screen in a second. Just know that you're not alone.
Yeah,
you're not alone, and it is help out here.
Amen. I agree. Thank you. But so that became part of my, my style and when I speak, understanding that I do have that responsibility to share the story in the most vulnerable way that I can, but not leave it there. Talk about the healing and the processes that I go through. So, I started walking in my purpose.
That's what's up. All right.
Go ahead, King.
So I wrote down a couple of questions, but so what was when you started getting involved with the poetry? What was the response you was receiving from like family and friends?
Ooh. So, like you, King, I think you shared with us earlier about being in the church, and I too was in the church, very much so. Every Sunday, 2 to 3 services, every Wednesday Bible study, and all that. Okay, and so because I think people didn't understand, they just saw words. If I was in a show, they saw it on Facebook. They didn't understand that it was a responsibility as well. So I maybe got a little flack, and people talking under their breath, and eventually it getting back to me like she doing that sinner stuff. She doing that nasty girl stuff. And so I got that. And then I think my family finally, when they came to the production, they realized I'm sharing the most vulnerable parts of me so that others can heal. And so they accepted it. Now, I not only do those types of poems, I do all styles. I do love poems. I do sensual poems. And then I do women empowerment poems. And lately, I also do men poems. So I've done a number of fathers and Father's Day pieces. One that was actually published in a book, an anthology for fathers.
Okay, that's peace.
Yeah.
Let me ask you, what would be? Have you ever written your greatest poem yet?
Oh wow. I don't. No, I don't think so. I mean, I've written some good poems. I've written some really good poems. I don't know if I've written my greatest poem.
So
I'm still working.
Tuesday,
I'm still working on that.
I'm gonna throw a couple names out there. This past Tuesday, when King hosted the Poetry Corner, it was in honor of the last poets. I'm gonna throw a couple names out there, and I want to tell me what you think of these people. Maya Angelou.
I love her. I love her work. I love her tenacity. I love everything about her. I've often been compared to Maya Angelou, and I'm humbled by that. I'm absolutely humbled. Sometimes I shy away from it, but it's been said often enough now that I accept it when someone says it, but I'm still very much humbled.
Nikki Giovanni.
Nikki! She's from Cincinnati. She hails from Cincinnati. I don't know if you know that or not. So hometown, homegirl. And I also love her work. I love the breath of fresh air that she brings to poetry. I love her style. She's unapologetic. Take me as I am. I love Nikki Giovanni. In fact, yeah. love her. But yeah.
Langston Hughes.
Oh gosh, thank you a million times, because he opened the doors. He spoke up and spoke out for African Americans all over the world, especially Harlem. He left such huge imprints and impacted so many people. So he's a brilliant poet, and yeah, I just praise him, hail him all. Yeah.
That's what's up.
Sonia Sanchez.
Ooh, I recently I did a writing workshop about women poets, and so I recently discovered Sonia Sanchez, and really like the footprint that she left, the legacy that she left. I like her work. Yeah.
And I got one more. I don't want, like I told you, King. I'm quite sure you and King will spit some poetry for the chat and myself. I always say every Tuesday with the Poetry Corner, I have the best seat in the house. Okay, this one might be the hardest question. You have to perform for one poet. One poet. You have to perform in front of. Who would you want it to be?
It's Maya Angelou. I mean, she's no longer with us, but yeah, Maya Angelou. Yeah, definitely. I would be honored to have her hear my work, to share my work with her, to compare stories, compare what lines mean. Why did I say it in this manner? What did I mean by this? What did you mean by that? Is it the strut in our walk? Phenomenal woman, what made you write that? So yes, oh my God.
I'm gonna ask you, and King, you got to cut me off because I'll sit here and have Gifted. I'm trying to get everything from her, but Gifted, let me ask you, as an artist, do you believe as an artist that your name is gifted, that you've been given a gift?
I absolutely do, and I don't mean that in a boasting about myself. I think the gift is my words, and the ability to convey those words to other in a way that's palatable. Even if, like, when I'm doing the piece, I'm Black, I'm not saying that I'm higher than anyone else, but I'm saying recognize my skin, recognize me for who I am beyond the skin, really.
Let me ask you, because that was a setup question, right?
Okay.
So tell me, you think, I believe that you have been gifted as well. Do you think you have a responsibility to humanity?
Yes. Yes, I do. I do. And I began to take it more seriously in 2017. And that's actually when I spoke to the women's veterans group. This was a group of women that had been raped and or molested while serving their time in the military. I knew at that moment this is my purpose. This is part of my purpose. And I had a responsibility to take it serious. So yes, absolutely. I do. I have a responsibility to give back in the best way that I can, and use my gift that was given to me and not bury it.
So you basically feel like that's your motivation and inspiration. Would you say that?
Yes.
All right. I'm gonna ask for the audience and also myself. How would you describe your pattern of writing? Like, what's your process without giving out your secrets?
Oh gosh. So, it varies. I will say that there's some people say, "Oh, I do it this way every time. I start at the beginning or I start at the bottom." Mine will vary. I can start with a line, and I can fill in the top, and then I know I want to end. Sometimes I'll find my ending and then build up. It could be seeing a picture or a person on the street, or I'm having a rough day. I can't even look at myself in the mirror. Why? So it starts with mirror, I can't see myself, something like that. And then I build into that.
Okay.
I research words. I not only use just any word, I want to make sure I'm using it in the correct manner, or that I can expand on that word. So it varies depending on what I'm talking about.
Reflective content. That's what I call it.
I like that reflective content. I'm going to use that. I'll
Yeah,
just say that next time.
Hey, that title is copyrighted.
Yeah. So Gifted, I asked you about your best poem.
Okay.
I want you to tell the people in the chat, give us the time where you felt like you bombed.
Ooh,
Like
okay,
you just had a bad experience. Like, I didn't give not that you didn't give your all, like you didn't come across the way that you really wanted to.
Wow. Oh, wow. I recently did a poem at the Freedom Center. And I don't know if you all know about the National Underground Railroad here. We refer to it as the Freedom Center. And I really wanted to be powerful, and I wanted my words to just resonate with the audience, which was a group of young people and police officers. But I don't know if it did. The poem was called I'm Listening. And I couldn't see, so I didn't have the piece memorized, and that's what I get, because normally I memorize my piece. This virtual world has spoiled me because I didn't memorize the piece. And the light, they had a spotlight back here, and then the light above went out, completely went out. So I had to like go off my head, and it just, it was kind of flat. They clapped, but I think it was flat.
I mean, the reason why I asked that question, right, even though it may coincide with the first question about the best poem, is because one of the things that you do well as an artist is your tones,
Okay.
your voice. You have a voice that is very, you'll catch somebody's ear, and it would be hard for somebody to hear your poem and not listen. Because sometimes people will just be like, I hear her, but with your tone of voice, you know how to relate well with the audience. Like the other day during the show, I personally feel as a listener, your first poem, you started us off. You was just scratching the surface. You was trying to, set the tone. And then each poem took in my opinion, he was like, oh, now I'm going into my bag. I'm getting better. I'm gonna do this. I'm more comfortable, sort of say. So you may have felt more confidence in the way that you were coming across, and I really appreciated it as a listener.
Yeah.
Like I tell all the poets, I always get the best seat in the house because I get a chance to hear everybody.
Right. Okay. Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
You was really doing your thing.
Yeah, it definitely was. You definitely set the bar high. You know what I mean?
Thank you.
You have a piece you would like the audience and everybody to hear out there in the Poetry Corner universe?
Okay. All right. So since we were talking about I'm listening, I'll say refuse to break till later, but since we were talking about the I'm listening poem, I'll do that piece. This is the one I think went. Even when the stars perfectly align, it's up to you to shine. If you can see me, if you can hear me, give attention to the sound, not the sight of our surround. Unhide hidden agendas to unfold connections that bar clear understanding of our beings. The shine. Shine is that little boy searching for his manhood in the unnamed streets, laboring forbearance of his dreams, slave to the game, hoping someone will just loosen the chains. Shine. Shine is that young girl seeking acceptance from all the wrong words when the right words aren't being said, alienated social tames needing someone to just walk her through the flames. This land is your land. This land is our land. community surveilled are your beats. Surveilled every beat. The beat of our heart is raising them from the maps and seeing their beauty wedged in between the cracks. Start a conversation. Man of stripes, heat, blue, bull, fools, the man. Just because they wear the blue doesn't mean that the block. The fact, the human, isn't in them too. Your story is their story. Their story is your story. Tides that bind us all. Shining, waning behind the clouds. Smoke is going to come, chasing the trail. Task at us to protect and serve. Every beat of heart in this community is our unity. Every beat that you walk is the heart of this community. Every beat that you share, we share too. So even when the stars are perfectly aligned, it's up to you to shine. See us, see our shine, see their shine. Start a conversation and know I'm listening.
One of it's fantastic.
Deep dope piece.
One of the things that I want to segue into is your authorship.
Yes, sir.
King is a author 19 times over.
I know.
How many? Where we at with you, Gifted, with the amount of books that you've written?
We're at 2 that are published and available for purchase, and then I'm working on my 3rd book. The poems are finished, but I'm reviewing them. I'm editing and adding and subtracting. So that's due to be out pretty soon here.
That's what's up.
Tell us about the first book. Your process. The process is always the most trying,
Yeah.
and the most rewarding. And
Yeah.
sometimes it's more better than the goal.
So
So
true.
tell us about the process of okay, I'm ready to write a book. I'm ready to be a published author. Tell us that. Tell us where you was at. How was the feeling? Those depressing days.
So it's so funny that you asked me that, because the first book is now the 3rd book.
Oh.
The very first book that I began to work on, which is called Ripples,
Okay.
has not been published. And so what happened was, it was taking me so long to get through the process, because the book Ripples is a book about the journey of me, the journey of my traumas and the triumphs and the victory and the healing.
Right.
So it's a harder process. So what I did was I put it down and I came up with my 30.
Okay.
And this was my first book, my 30. And the reason why is because the poems were already there. I had written them for National Poetry Month. You know how they do the challenges on Facebook?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, these were all the poems, my 30 poems for the month of April.
Oh, okay.
So I just took all of those poems as a collection of poems from National Poetry Month.
Yeah,
And I just
that's what's up.
put them, I put them in the first went the Word document, and then I made that a manuscript at PDF, and then I uploaded that to Amazon.
So let me ask you. Oh, now you uploaded to Amazon. You saw your name in the bright. You saw your name in the bright lights of Amazon. Tell us about that.
So, I have spoken to so many different publishers, publishing companies, self-publishing websites, and I have found, just me personally, that Amazon was the easiest at the time for me to be able to produce my works and make them available to the mass. I know there is a cost to that, but it wasn't an upfront cost that I had to pay like with other services. So it made it a lot easier, the process for me at that time. It made it a lot easier for me to get my works out.
Let me ask you, Gifted, where do you think has poetry changed your life?
It has. It has made me stronger. Because I never spoke about the traumas or incidents or my childhood. And in speaking about them, it made me confront them. And it made me want to be better, do better, and share that journey with others. It made me a better protector of my daughter. In writing that piece, Bad Seed, the one that I spoke of earlier, it made me confront what really happened and what I don't want to happen to my daughter or anyone else's daughter or son. Any other child. I want you to know that you're empowered to speak out and say, get off me. Don't touch me.
All right, we're gonna have a moment where I'm gonna try to. I know you keeping it 100. I just gonna be a keep it real question. All right.
All right.
Have you ran in the bathroom, locked the door, and cried yet? Out of just appreciation.
I have not ran in the bathroom, but I have ran to a dressing room out of appreciation. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I've been fortunate enough to speak and have my poetry heard in some phenomenal venues with hundreds of people. And that is a blessing. That is something that I, little old me, never expected. And for someone to receive it, yeah, that's a moment where I need to just breathe and let it out and release that heavy, because it's kind of heavy sometimes. It's heavy to have that responsibility. So yeah, I have.
So Gifted, when that book came out, that first one, how was that feeling? Jump for joy? You're just like, yo, I made it. Like, yo,
I can do it. I can do it. I did it. Like it honestly, my 30 proved to me that I can do it. I can do this. Yeah. And that's what it did. It really it paved the way for me to continue writing and continue knowing that I can and I am an author.
That's what's up.
Remember, everybody in the chat, if you don't mind, to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Let me ask you another question. We always ask poets this one question. Does life imitate art, or art imitate life?
I think both. I think it can be both. At times, art definitely mirrors and can reflect life. But I think there are times that life takes a bit and a beat from art, all kinds of art, images, words, performances. So I think it can vary. Yeah.
That's what's up.
Where's this ride going, Gifted? Where's this ride you on going? Like you spoke about it. It's opened up so many doors, and being honored to speak among certain people. Do you know where the ride is going?
Wow. I don't. I am taking a leap of faith and just going where my creator leads me. I really am. I really am.
So you riding this thing? Excuse me. I'm sorry. Good.
I was just gonna say, and knowing to go to him before I accept anything, before I do anything. Is this your will? That's what I ask.
So basically, riding till the wheels fall off, huh?
I am.
That's what's up.
And I will say, can I say, this is my 80% full-time job now.
Wow.
Yeah, and I say 80% because I still, obviously, we all have to live, and I don't like to say I'm a starving artist. I'm a surviving artist, surviving off of my poetry. So book me. But no, and then I still do, I'm an HR consultant. So I still do some human resources to ensure that I keep a roof over our heads and we can still eat some chicken.
That's what's up.
Well, King.
Well, you have another poem for us?
I do. Now, do you want sensual or woman empowerment or the father sheet?
It's whatever you choose to allow us to listen to.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. This is I Refuse to Break. I'm not the strongest crayon in the box, but I refuse to break. Dark clouds loom as if to follow my light, pressure pushing me over onto my knees. I need you, but you can't guide my night. I just want to be held. As much as you want to fix it, make it go away, lift the heavy. You can't breathe for me. Throw me the rope. I'll try to hang on, yet my arms are flailing helplessly. One slip, two. Last chance to grip that that must come through. Hand over hand, I hoist myself up again and again and again, as many times as it takes, because I refuse to break. Cracks upon my canvas like past practice up from down gives understanding of every bended knee. There's many shades of me. I refuse to break through the beautiful nightmare. Yet I still want and need to be held.
All right. You definitely are powerful. I'd like to share one of my pieces with you.
All right.
This is a piece I titled, I Gotta Flow. The man behind the hands doing the best he can. Pen master bleeding on loose leaf words dance. Moving while I'm grooving to sounds in my head. Know what I say when it's read. It's all well kept. Been in small ciphers since a kid from way back. Ain't a bridge I never crossed. Writing without tracks. Keep my mind with potential. Flow is monumental. Power of poetry vengeful when I am into. The vibe within a high or low, I'm in the zone. Enjoy being alone in and out of my home, I roam. Capture essence of imagery. Energy is bringing me. Enough skills to build on 1 year over a century. King.
Nice. I love your work too. I absolutely do.
I'm a fan of yours, so feelings are mutual. So what? Oh, sorry, cuz.
Go ahead, cuz.
What is your expectancy level for the future? Like, where do you see yourself going? I mean, being on these platforms and just riding the wave. Like, what is the end game?
Wow. I see myself on stages, large stages, filling arenas, people coming to hear me speak, not only to hear me, but receiving whatever message I've been provided to share. I see EPs, or I've had music to my poetry before, but I see more of that. I see people buying it in collections, and I just see me growing in my poetry and my art and being taken seriously. I think for so many years, poets weren't taken serious, and it's a shame, because poets are really, we give rappers, they rap, we give musicians their music, we speak for those who are unable to speak. We do so much, and we weren't getting the recognition for that. And I think so many others are now paving the way and rekindling interest of the last poets, but they've always been here. Why haven't they been on the forefront? Why weren't they at the White House? Things like that. But it's okay. Everything comes in its time and season. So I see me doing more of that.
That's what's
your answer kind of is a question as well.
Yes.
I can speak for a person that's not a poet.
Mm-hmm.
Poets are timeless.
That's nice. I like that.
And poetry is the birth of hip hop.
Yeah.
So I would say that those that know.
Yeah.
And the power of you guys' words as an art form, it is power. It speaks truth to power. So as much praise as a poet can get, they can also get vilified if they're speaking too much truth to power. You know what I mean?
No, that's true. Very true.
Because the establishment, wherever we are, the poet speaks for the voiceless.
Yes.
So
yes.
Me not being a poet is, I always say, you guys have an effect. You guys have so much power in your words that the reason why I say it's limitless. You can affect change in so many words, in so many ways. You have a physical footprint that's timeless now.
That's true. Yeah.
Everybody knows who Shakespeare is.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's true.
I don't like his form of poetry,
me
personally, but we know who he is.
That's true. It's different. Yeah.
I
need to do that too. More children things, more poems, and even a book eventually that children can read and that they can share and be empowered as well. Yeah. I have a piece called Pushing Ink. I'm going to do that for y'all. Okay. If y'all don't mind. Is that good?
Yeah.
Pushing ink is what I do. To right the wrongs, elevate our voices, hoping just us is heard. Pushing ink, tears from another mother gone unheard. Pleading hands go up, knees go down to an unshakable earth. Unmoved by lifeless black and brown bodies that depart their existence. Pushing ink, my pen, gives us power, sheds constant enlightenment of the possibility that someone will turn on the lights. So pushing ink is what I do.
All right. Everybody now know who Gifted is. If you don't know, now you know.
Now you know.
That's right. That's right. Well, Gifted, do you have any last words for everybody out there that's tuning in the audience, YouTube, Facebook?
Oh gosh, stay tapped in. I do Like I said earlier, I not only do this vein of poetry. In the last 2 years, I've also found myself doing more sensual, what some would consider erotic poetry, and not because, I want to be nasty, as they say, but because I want women to be comfortable knowing their bodies and being comfortable in their sexuality and being able to tell their partners what they want. So I've done, some sensual, like Sticky Situations is a collaboration with myself and Mr. Witz. We travel and have done this live as well as virtual. So I do all veins of poetry, not only to help myself, but to help others. And not only to help women, but to help men as well, to know what their woman wants and how to give it to her.
That's what's up. Well, look, we appreciate you coming on tonight and being part of our Thursday Spectacular. Great. And we'll be seeing you again on the Poetry Corner, I hope.
I hope so too. I hope we have much more to do. I hope we have a sensual night. That would be nice. But I look forward. I am so appreciative of this platform. I'm so appreciative of you. So thank you so much for inviting me, and keep doing what you all are doing. We need more platforms like this to share our stories.
Thank you very much. Appreciate you always on that. No worry, you'll be back towards the Poetry Corner. Don't worry about that. Spectacular.
Likewise, what King said, we appreciate you coming
through
and sharing your art, sharing your gift with us on Tuesday as well as tonight. And we will make a night for you for your sensual night. We'll think of something, and I'm quite sure King's mind as well as myself. Now you got our minds rolling, because we always thinking of something. We like mad scientists. We're trying to put good content together. And I forgot to ask you this one last question. Tell us all, and myself and your audience that's with us in the chat, as well as people, because a lot of people watch on the rebroadcast. You host a couple shows as well.
Oh, I do.
Tell us where we can find your shows.
So I host shows on Instagram, IG. I do live IG every Monday for the Ain't Right Tribe. I've also been a co-host for On the Grill, again on Instagram with Blood Brother Mike. I have conversations with Gifted, which is also on live IG. The conversations with Gifted are monthly. Ain't Right Tribe is every Monday, and On the Grill varies from Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. You can find me on those platforms. And then we do virtual Spoken Word Soul. And Spoken Word Soul's homepage is on Facebook. So Spoken Word Soul, all one word. We still are a collective that put shows on here in the Cincinnati area. Once the pandemic hit, then we went virtual. And so we do those through Zoom.
Well, appreciate you, Gifted. Glad you, like I said earlier, glad you allowed us the opportunity to hear you and to celebrate you and give you your flowers and realize that don't ever doubt your work, because it is touching someone.
Thank
you. You know what I mean? You definitely caught King and myself's ear, and we really wanted to have you on tonight, and such short notice, and you were like, yes, no problem. We appreciate that. And like I said, this probably will not be the first or the last time definitely won't be the last time that you've came on, and we appreciate you and honor you.
Thank you, Miss Betty. And thank you, gentlemen. Thank you, Miss Betty, and all who are watching. Kendra, Athera, Witz, thank you.
With that, everybody in the chat, appreciate you guys for joining the discussion tonight. One thing about the chat, and you guys may not realize it, is that when you're doing shows, the chat being there saying good words of encouragement, it helps the conversation, it helps the interviewer, and it helps the person that's doing the interview. And it gives people ease, and it gives people a sense of comfortability that sometimes they may not have when they go on platforms that they never been on. So a lot of you guys, I appreciate you. And thanks for joining us, and have a blessed night.
Have a blessed night, everyone.
Good night, y'all.